Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Loan Officer Life, Hustle, Heart, and Home Ownership. I'm joined today by John Donnelly. John leads up all things mortgage sales at Service First Mortgage. John, you and I we've been connected for quite a while.
Yep.
You're one of the top LinkedIn mortgage peeps, as I call it, on my tracker. And can't remember exactly who suggested we do this together, but I don't know, a few weeks back, somebody said, you need to get John on the podcast, and here we are.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't remember who it was, but I'm glad we connected. I've seen you on LinkedIn. We tracked each other, and it's awesome to have conversations and like become connected in real life and not just on LinkedIn. Yeah,
exactly. And we share a mutual friendship with Kyle Draper. Somewhere over my shoulder is the green Rethink Everything book that Kyle and I did together a couple years back. And so I guess if any friend of Kyle's is a friend of mine.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. You know, like I said, we're neighbors. Like we live close to each other, so we get to see each other once in a while. And yeah, I agree with you. If he's a buddy of yours, then you're a friend of mine. So
love it. Well, let's get right into it, John. You're amongst your activities, duties, responsibilities at Service First, production management, sales management, recruiting, coaching. I want to go a little bit into coaching because I think we're at this really interesting time in our business, especially for loan officers. And I'll just kind of dive into what I think is going to be one of the most important tools for loan officers to understand and adopt, which is AI, and not AI for decisioning and that kind of stuff, but really for leverage. How do you think about AI, and how is your team, from a top of funnel perspective, leveraging the various AI tools today?
That's a great question. I think the first thing in mind for me is my desktop right now is reimagine. And we've purposely, as a leadership team, challenged the company this year to reimagine everything that is happening, from how a loan officer creates content, how they put their system together, how we do loan setup, to how we underwrite, how we close and fund, everything. And so we've been purposefully reimagining everything, and there's nothing that's not on the table, if you will. So if you kind of lean into the AI side of it, there's things that we've kind of learned. I think people know this, but the one eye opener for us was early this year. We got on a call with a couple IT guys, and we said we didn't like our CRM. We want to do something different. And in a matter of 20 minutes on a Zoom, they created a new CRM using, LLMs and all this stuff that's new.
Yeah.
That was better than what we had in our own way that we wanted it, using our data, and it blew our mind. And that was the beginning of like, wow, what's about to happen? What revolution is about to happen in the world, not just in mortgage, everywhere. And so that made it real for us. We all kind of knew, but then all of a sudden you're like, wow. And so we've been down this path to build our own system and create our own CRM. And mind you, we are a company. I've been here since 2009, so a long time. So I know our company. We were a company that said, we're just going to adopt the latest and greatest technology. We're not going to be in the IT business. We don't want to host it all. We not big enough. We can't compete, on that level. So we'll just use the latest and greatest. And that's how we've been forever. Like, that's our philosophy. But now all of a sudden there's a shift. And we're like, you don't have to have a $5 million and 2-year investment to create a CRM. You can do it quicker, faster, and more, productive. Probably this is what it's looking like for us. And then own it, and then adjust it on your own in a quick way. So that's one thing that just kind of comes to mind. That's a little bit bigger level than just the LO, but.
Well, no, I think if you can look at that as an example of how quickly you can stand something up, even if it's a workable prototype, let's say. Imagine the power of what you can do in micro, in a micro setting. And so that's it. To me, it's the art of the possible is the way I think about AI. And AI is like this overarching, terminology. I was at an event last week, and there was a 3-hour AI boot camp for mortgage, and it became very evident. There's probably 100 people in the room. It became evident in the first 3 minutes the gap in knowledge and expertise and comfort in the room with basic AI tools. And I'm talking like Chat GPT, basic, right?
Intro, right?
Yeah. So we're in the first inning of this thing from an industry perspective. Now,
I think.
I'll go ahead.
Okay, keep going. I want to hear where you're going.
Well, I want to throw one thing at you and get your reaction, because this is the risk if a company doesn't kind of embrace AI and help their loan officers understand the tool. So, like you, I'm in a bunch of different community groups where loan officers are sharing best practices, sometimes not so best practices, bragging, blah, 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 blah. About 2 weeks ago, I saw a loan officer, not from Service First Mortgage, posted like in a, braggadocious way, how they're leveraging AI to read consumer credit reports.
Ooh.
And yeah, exactly. Because you know exactly where that's going, right?
Yeah. They got MPPI data showing up in ChatGPT. That's a no-no.
Yes. And so, like, in my head, this light bulb went off. From an industry perspective, we need to develop some best practice guardrails that companies can embrace and actually go to their loan officers and help them understand how to leverage the tools, but leverage them in a way that's not going to get anybody in trouble. And so there's a little wild west going on, but I think now's the time for companies to get behind this and really help their LOs.
We're probably just ahead of you, but we had the same thing happen. I hosted like I don't know, call it a mastermind or roundtable around AI best practices, because a lot of our LOs are it's very separate. Like there's either the ones really using it and taking off, and then there's the other ones that don't know what to do. So I just got them all on a call and I knew where people were, so we share. And coming out of that, my HR director was like, "Hey, we need to have an AI policy for like the company, because I'm seeing exactly what you said. We don't need to take this in the wrong direction." So we created an AI policy, went through risk committee, and we're only a couple hundred employees. We're not a giant company, but we saw it and had dealt with it already. But I don't know that sounds kind of unique for what I'm hearing. I don't think everybody's dealt with it yet that way,
Right. Yeah, that was a scary aha moment for me, for sure.
Yeah, I think you got to be smart about it, and I don't know that everybody's thought about that to the level they should. But also think like kind of going back to the LO. I mean, it's a requirement that you learn AI at this point, and it's not an option.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it just helps you dial in things and scale so much better and faster. Once you start doing it, it's almost like an addiction for me. Like, it's crazy. I drive to an office one day a week that's about 35 minutes, and I've noticed the last 2 months, probably my entire drive there, because it's early in the morning, I'm not on the phone. I talk to AI the whole time. And I'm asking it, and I'm working with things, and I'm talking about content, and I'm creating. I have this crazy story. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro a couple months ago, and I've been creating this keynote out of it. What does it mean? And so I'm telling it all my story, and I've saved it in a project, and I'm helping it.
Yep.
It's helping me uncover the story in the story.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing in that. And so that's like
I love that.
Kids are making fun of me.
Yeah.
They're like, "Dad, you talk to it too much. You're going to become dumb." I go, "No, I don't think so.
Making you smarter.
I mean, smarter because the way I'm using it, I'm not letting it do everything for me. I'm having it ask me questions, and it's enhancing what I'm doing.
Agree. Yeah, there's a big you know, I see this a lot on LinkedIn where there's the AI content bashers, right?
Yes.
That just want to go on and say, "Oh, AI is taking over all the content on LinkedIn." And there's some of that. You
Yeah.
could tell who's, simply doing a lazy prompt with a lazy copy paste and
Yeah.
post. But your example, I think that's a brilliant application because you had a real experience. AI didn't
Yes.
climb the
Right.
AI
Didn't
didn't
climb
do
the
the
mountain.
work.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so now you can
And
uncover I mean, I can't wait to see that keynote because it's going to be like the level of detail and depth of it's going to be pretty amazing, I'm sure.
yeah, and it's been awesome. I got, you do things and other doors open. I've been asked to come to Nepal to speak at a men's leadership conference in January. And I was like, what am I gonna? And it's really Christian based kind of deal, which is great. But I'm like, what am I gonna talk about? And so they challenged me to spend an hour talking about climbing a mountain and use my story as the basis. And so I'm
Yeah.
working on all the things that you would think about, the preparation and the ups and downs. And that's easy. I think the climbing to the top is easy. And then he said, the next day, I want you to talk about coming down the mountain and all the lessons
Yeah.
that are in the coming down part, because there's a lot more to that. And that's not the common speech you hear people say. They don't talk about the lessons
Right.
coming down. And that's the one I'm most excited about to unpack that. And I'm using AI to help
Yeah.
ask me questions and seek it out. And the way I'm talking to it is ask me 10 questions, dig deep into this, compare my thoughts to other things that are out there. What am I missing?
Yeah.
How can I make this better, more impactful? And it's given me stuff back and forth. Honestly, I have most of it. It hadn't blown my mind yet with anything that's come back,
Yeah.
you know. But I always ask you, like, give me a famous quote that ties into this, and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
so I think just sometimes by hearing somebody say how they're using it, it can help you think about new ways, is why I say it this way.
So I think about our audience who's listening, watching right now. Imagine now as a loan officer who serves first time homebuyers as a cohort, as a segment. If you spent 30 minutes a week, like you described
Yeah.
in your morning commute, right? If you spent 30 minutes a week as a loan officer working with whether it's Chat GPT or whatever the platform is, to kind of perfect your story and the value you bring as a loan officer to your community and serving first time homebuyers, the output of doing that work is going to it pays off exponentially because it's every time you add to it, it becomes
Yes.
more powerful in terms of the output and the content you create. Are you actively kind of teaching and coaching that with your loan officers today?
Yes, exactly what I'm telling you is I'm teaching, you know, I'm a big person that I believe I follow leaders who do the things they say and lead by example. So I'm trying to be ahead of them and learn it and practice it so I can bring them along. And so I'm just teaching what I'm doing, In your
Yeah.
example, the first thing you got to do is do the paid version and make sure that you've programmed, I use ChatGPT, whether it's Gemini or whatever, but you have to program it to know you and think the way you want it to and spend that little extra time. And if you don't know how to
Yeah.
do it, just ask it and it'll tell you. It's
Yeah.
not that
Yeah.
hard. And then I save projects. So I open those projects specifically. Like in this one, I just call it Kilimanjaro and it has all my history. And so I can
Yeah.
say, hey, are we in the Kilimanjaro project? You have all my notes. I always doubt it for some reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're on. Okay. I got all the notes. I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to start over from the beginning. I can just keep adding on. That's powerful too.
Right.
You
Huge.
know?
Love it. Um, what so here we are. We're in the second half of the year. We continue to speculate on what's going to happen with rates. It really doesn't matter at this point what's going to happen with rates.
Yeah.
We're kind of in this market that's probably going to be like this for the foreseeable future. What are you seeing? You know, if you analyze like your the best of the best in your team or those that you coach, what are things that they're doing today that are really creating that opportunity for them to be the best of the best versus what the rest of the LOs are doing that is holding them back?
They're not doing anything that's going to be a silver bullet or blow your mind that you've never heard of before. The ones, we all kind of see it now. There's almost like no middle ground loan officer. There's the ones that are like killing it, and then there's the ones that are struggling. There's almost not a lot in the middle. And one of mine, loan officers, her name is Stephanie Johnston. She worked with me for 12 years, and she's killing it. She's almost to break 100 million right now for the year. And something she said the other day to me kind of summarizes what you just asked. She said, a lot of these loan officers don't have enough business, and they only spend, 30 minutes prospecting or a day. And she goes, I've just spent 8 hours calling all my builder sales reps continuously for 8 hours straight all day long.
Yeah.
She goes, that's the difference. She goes, it's really not anything else that I'm doing. Yeah. It's that I did it for 8 hours today and they did it for 30 minutes or an hour and thinking that's enough.
Right.
I think that's the big X factor. There's not, there's some little things you can do in your follow-up or your marketing or whatever, but the talking to people and having connections and figuring out how to, solve their problems, if you will, that's going to win you the business still to this day. It's like old school blocking, tackling, back to the basics, X's and O's, all that stuff. And what I find is loan officers, they don't know what to turn to. They don't have a plan. They might have their realtors that some are still in the business, some aren't doing enough. But now what? If I wanted to prospect 8 hours, who do I even call? They don't even know what to do. And so like today I'm leading with a bunch of LOs, just a quarterly business plan review because I feel people are drifting right now. And I'm like, okay, whoever's lost, get on this call today and let's get focused. We're going to get a theme. We're going to work through this. And it's not just about me telling you what to do. It's about others sharing, like, what are they doing? Because that's how you learn the most is from their ideas. And, it's really just getting somebody motivated again and getting them some kind of a list to call and a strategy and something to say. We have this giant event coming up in November where it's called the Realtor Roundup. We rented Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, which is the large arena where they do like concerts. We have 25 builders. We've invited every realtor in Dallas, Fort Worth. It qualifies for a Guinness Book of World Records largest real estate networking event. We just don't want to pay the $16,000 to have them come out and validate it. Yeah. So I'm like, you got no excuses. Call every realtor in the DFW and tell them about the event, and then go, oh, by the way, are you working with somebody I can help? Like just the littlest thing like that. You could call for days and create conversations and open opportunities right now. So that's an easy one.
Yeah, I love the fact that, and this is consistent with the conversations I'm having. There is no silver bullet, to your point.
Yeah.
It is, at the end of the day, conversations lead to XYZ. Insert whatever you want for XYZ. It's basic blocking and tackling. Now, can you be smarter about setting yourself up for those conversations and leveraging tools like we've been talking about to actually give you kind of some sharper talking points? Absolutely, for sure.
I agree with you. And another thing is, if you're not sure or you feel like you don't like to make the cold call, nowadays you can message people in like a messenger or like a LinkedIn, but you can do it with a voice or a video and really stand out. And I had, like, the other day, I had an insurance guy reach out to me with a voice message on Facebook Messenger, and I hadn't had that. And I was so excited to get his message. He was like, hey, John, we've been connected on here, kind of like we were saying, for quite a long time. I love an opportunity to like earn your business and talk to you and whatever. So I messaged him back because he tried. I was like, hey man,
Yeah.
like I'm not really originating a lot. You really want to talk to my LOs, but the fact that you sent this message is why I messaged you back. Keep doing that. It's working, you know. And it was encouraging to
Love that.
him. And I think that stuff gets attention that's not the normal right now.
Yeah.
So, but you gotta get the right message too. Just doing it
Yeah.
isn't good enough. You gotta think like you have a personal connection of a message, like, you know. Anyway.
Well, tying it back to our, what we talked about at the early part of the conversation, Kyle Draper, when he's coaching anybody, not just mortgage people, he's having this conversation across multiple industries. Your example of that voice message, whether it's a voice message or a video message, there's still very few people that are doing that. And that is just such a unique, I'm the same way as you. If I see, we get blown up with DMs on, LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
And most of them are kind of poor, kind of cookie cutter, and you just skim by. But I always look at the video messages and the voice memos, and it's like, it's different. It stands out. Now, I may not do anything with it, but it gets me to stop and actually pay attention.
Yeah, it's an X factor. I think so. The other thing that you can do, go back to our AI, is you can ask AI to help you and look at the people and find something unique and help write a script.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing, this tool. We don't think about it that way. When you get stuck in these moments, like, you got this friend over here, in a sense, that can help you.
Yeah.
Ask it, see what happens. And I bet you it's going to help you in a way you're not expecting.
So like you described, setting up all your projects, I've done the same thing. I also am, Chat GPT is kind of my go-to.
Yeah.
I have one project and I just call it my agency. So it's my marketing agency, and they're open 24/7, 365, by the way. And they like input. They don't pretend to be smarter than the client, and and so I feed it as much information as I can about our target, our ideal client for FinLocker. And then if I'm stuck on an idea for content or an email outreach, I'll ask my agency to help me prepare, an outreach email or a text or a video script, whatever. And so that's, as a loan officer, you can create your own little, your own team. And then one of those teams can be your marketing agency that's there for you all the time.
That's a cool idea. I haven't thought about it that way. The thing we've had some of our LOs doing is uploading all the Fannie and Freddie guides and all that, so it's current, and then making sure it's seeking out all the latest guidelines and not some company that posted something 5 years ago and it's out of date. It can burn you using it for guidelines. But if you use a project and you really make sure that it's current, super cool to like say, I'm not sure, like get that second opinion. That's something we all have seen as being in this business forever. One of my leadership lessons, if you will, early on was a lot of times the people that come to me, they always knew the answer, but they were just unsure. And so I always had this kind of approach. It would be like, tell me your problem. What do you think we should do as my next step? And they always knew the answer. They just wanted confirmation. I'm like, that's it, go do it. Even if I didn't know as the leader the answer, they probably gave me a better answer, and that now you can have another tool that's really smart, by the way, like genius level smart with this level 5 or the new version of it. It's pretty good,
Yeah, it is game changing in a lot of ways. John, we could probably talk for hours. I know you got your calls coming up, and I appreciate you spending some time with me and the audience today on Loan Officer Life.
Yeah, I think this is fun. Hopefully it gave some value to some people. I appreciate you having me on here. It's a great conversation. Great to get to know you. Now, next time I see you around, we'll get to hang out a little bit.
For sure. And then I'm excited to hear about the Guinness Book / non-Guinness Book record for that networking. That sounds like a very cool event.
It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be great. It's in November, like November 19th. So
love it. Well, John, thanks again, man. And for the audience, thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to like, download, save, share all the stuff you do with your favorite podcast. And also, don't forget, we stream this every Saturday morning on LinkedIn. So if you're not, consuming this on YouTube or podcast, you can go right to my LinkedIn profile, and every Saturday morning, 9:30 Eastern, you'll see the latest episode of Loan Officer Life. Thanks again, John.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.